Hi, everyone, and welcome to Own Your Greatness. I realized today that it's not even been 2 months since I started on this writing journey in conjunction with shifting the niche of this channel. So, thank you for being here. It has been quite a journey, quite a wild ride. And today I thought I would ground you, as I've been grounding myself over these past 2 weeks, into some things I have learned and some advice based on using my intuition. And my goal always as an intuitive and energetic empowerment mentor is to help you use your intuition. Because let me tell you, as the premise of this video is going to be about, there is a lot of advice and a lot of content out there and a lot of experts. And at the end of the day, you really need to do what works best for you. So if you've been following me for a long time, longer than this series started again on November 20th, then you'll know that that is a big part of what I talk about is really understanding your energy, understanding how to listen to your inner intuition, use your intuition, trust your intuition so you can live your best life, not the life that someone else says you should be living. So here we go. So the last YouTube that I did in last podcast, because I have been putting this to my podcast as well if the Zoom works out in my favor, was on December 27th with my niece, Sienna Krieg. And during that time of prepping for that podcast and then recording that podcast, and shortly after, I realized that I had been consuming a lot of content. And if you look at the playlist that I created called Writing Tips, you will see I had been consuming a lot of content. And I never think that I've done something necessarily wrong, especially because I'm a 3-5 in human design. And if you know anything about human design, I'm a 3-5, so this will make perfect sense to you. But I often go down these roads and then I have to check myself and dial it back in or tweak or course correct and sometimes even stop. So, with all the content that I was consuming, my intuition started to go bing, 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 bing. This is a lot, and you need to get grounded. And some of this advice isn't necessarily the best advice, at least for me, and at least for where I am on my journey. So that's really important. And what I want you to really take from this is I got quiet after about a good month and listened to myself and did a check-in. Okay, I'm still working on my book series, my fiction book series. I know like basically the plot line, I basically know the characters, all of that was good. But I started to realize that there were certain elements of writing a fiction book series that I needed to get better in. So really like break it apart and dial it in. This is really important for anyone trying to learn anything, if you think about it, right? If you follow my husband, Captain Ryan Van Fleet of Good Karma Sport Fishing and Educational Programs, he always talks about how he focuses on one fish at a time. So when he became the master at catching flag yellowtail, which landed him on the cover of Florida Sportsman in the summer of 2018, that was because he literally spent months only learning how to catch flag yellowtail in addition to our charters. So there's something super important about that. And I know many of us, my hand raised high, have a habit of thinking we can handle all of these things. And then we often have shiny object syndrome and we're looking over here and we're looking over here and, oh, but I can do this and I can do that. But there is something energetically involved with the universe in terms of co-creation when people give the advice to focus on one thing at a time. I have learned this lesson, again, 3-5 in human design, the hard way every single time. So I knew going down this path that I had to clear my life, basically, except for working on my business with my husband, of everything, right? So if you follow me on social media, I'm posting, but I'm not really on social media anymore. I've dialed back my newsletter to just a couple times a month. Medium, maybe like once a week. So I've really kind of dialed some things back. Last year in 2024, I really edited my calendar. I stopped going to all these like networking meetings and chamber meetings and things like that, which are great and super fun, but weren't really helping me on where my focus was in regards to my destiny and what I needed to be doing. And I see so many of those people still like in that same cycle, thinking that's really going to get them somewhere. They don't really have a clear understanding of where they're going. So for me last year, that was one thing that I had to like cut and move away from and just focus then on writing my fiction series and also helping my husband with our coaching business, which is me still being a coach and still helping, but it's really more dialed into the fishing lane. So that's the first thing. Is like really recognize this as we're in a new year, even though the universe doesn't know time. We technically, as humans, we're in a new year. So really look at this and go, okay, get honest with yourself. Am I someone who has this goal, but I'm focused in all these other places, or trying to focus in all these other places, juggling too many balls, trying to do too many things, and I'm really not being the expert, or at least trying to be the expert and master the one thing that I really need to learn and know. So when I really took this concept that who knows who created it way back when, and dialed in then in terms of the fiction book series, that's when I was like, okay, I need to like really get clear on all the different things that I need to learn. So what did I do? If you know me and you've been following me, you know I asked the universe for help. I'm always asking the universe for help. I do not sit and try to figure anything out. I don't. You can think I'm crazy. You can think I'm cuckoo. I don't care. I do not do that. I do not sit and struggle and research and go down rabbit holes. I don't do anything like that. I literally ask the universe for help and I wait. And I wait and I listen. And how do you know if it's your intuition versus your brain? You know because your brain is because you were thinking of something and you can like decipher that, oh, I thought of that. I came up with that idea because of that. Whereas your intuition, it pops up out of nowhere. You may be on a walk, you may be having a conversation. For me, so many things happen like in the middle of the night. My husband and I go to bed pretty early, about 7, 7:30, 8 at the latest. I wake up at midnight and an answer pops into my head of something I had asked a question about. So with that, now you know one of my little secrets, that is what I did. I started going, okay, I need to know more about character development. I need to know more about how to really structure scenes. I'm new as a fiction writer. As I've said in my other videos, I am brand spanking new. And let me tell you, as I said in one of my other videos, writing a fiction book is absolutely nothing like writing a nonfiction book, which I wrote 2 of in 2021. Zero zip. It is completely different. I have a lot to learn. I also had the whole concept come to me that I didn't really have a clear understanding of what genre was. So I knew, as far as watching all these other YouTube videos, that I was going to be sci-fi, fantasy, maybe a little romance, and not young adult, so more adult. And I definitely want my series to appeal to men as well as women. So I like knew those types of things, but I felt that there was probably something more to genre that I just wasn't cracking the nut on, right? So those are 3 things that I knew right away that I had questions on, right? Setting a scene, a little bit more introspection on genre, a little more clarity. So if a publisher called me or someone called me and needed me to give a pitch, I could give a more clear pitch as to what my series is about. And then also about character development, right? So these came to me that I needed the help. So again, listening to my intuition, where do I need help? Where do I need to dial in and get a little better on writing a fiction book series? And those were three things that came to me. And there was a few more, but those are the three things I'm going to cover. So, as far as character development, again, 12 o'clock at night, midnight, I wake up in the middle of the night and I literally have a vision in my third eye of a book. And I'm like, I think that's on my bookshelf. Have an amazing library of personal development books, marketing books, metaphysical books, all sorts of really cool books. And what did I do? Instead of ignoring it, like the majority of people do, like ignore it, oh, I gotta go back to sleep. Oh, I gotta sleep. I'm so tired. I'm not gonna get up at midnight. That's what the majority of people do, let's be honest. I got up. I got up and I went into my library and I looked at my bookshelf and I was like, I've got that author. I've got a couple of his books. Let me go on Amazon and order all the rest. And so I did. I ordered all the rest. So I've been diving into his books as far as research books, not to copy, but because of like a lot of the language he uses and a lot of the character traits that he talks about, they're perfect for character development. So if you are someone that needs help with character development, if you are someone who is working on being a writer, whether you already are writing or you want to get stronger or just starting out, go into the books you already have. If you're into human design, you probably have some human design books. I've got Gene Key books. I've got books from Carl Jung. I've got so many books. That was just like one example of this one author. I happened to go, oh, this is going to be perfect, and I ordered the rest of his books. So that is one thing. The second thing was in terms of starting your book and also scene development. So what I had bought way back when I started in November, which feels like a long time ago, but really it wasn't, was I had somehow stumbled across this author and she, from my memory, like she has a blog and she has courses, she's a coach, C.S. Lakin, Lakin. And I added this book to my Amazon affiliate link, which I'll put in the show notes. And this book, I had bought it. I don't know, somehow it like popped up and I bought it, just like bought it on Amazon and hadn't yet read it. So my intuition was like, go back and read that book. So I literally sat and read this book, and it is phenomenal. I highly recommend this book if you are someone who needs help getting your book started and even just in general on scenes. She gives very clear examples using other very well-known books. She gives her feedback, and I had to laugh because she's kind of like me in terms of feeling like, oh, I hope I wasn't a little arrogant in giving that feedback. But, she kind of makes me laugh as I was reading it. But it's a very well written tool that you will be able to use to help you get started or maybe get through hump or writer's block, which I don't believe in, anything like that. I highly recommend this book. So again, I will put my Amazon affiliate link in the show notes, and this book is on there. So look for tools that you can help you get through the hump, and ask the universe again, what is out there that I can use that I maybe even already have, and some ideas will come to you. And the third one that I was getting a little tripped up on was the genres. So what ended up happening was a old podcast. It's kind of old, I want to say, from a YouTube channel called StoryGrid, which is one of my new favorite. I like them all, but this one's really, really good, I have to say. StoryGrid popped up about genres, and it was exactly what I needed to hear. And their freebie is phenomenal. Like one of the best freebies I think I've ever had in my whole experience of like signing up for freebies, which has been a lot, let's be honest. So I highly recommend this. So I put the YouTube episode that I watched about genres in the show link as well, in the playlist about writing tips. So what was so great about it? if you know what your book is going to be about, but you need that little help, again, dialing in to understand, like if someone were to call me today and, want to pick me up, they're an agent, they're a publisher, how would I really put into words, like what the essence, it's truly the essence, what the emotional piece is of my book. This video, which then leads to the lead magnet, the freebie, helps you dial that in. So some of the genres, romance, love, morality, mine is worldview. So there's a little bit of crossover with some of the other ones, but for the most part, it's worldview. It's hands down worldview is what the crux of my series is about in terms of the storyline, character development, things that happen, and all the things that I wish to include in the series. So I highly recommend for you to check out that YouTube channel, that tool. I did end up signing up for their workshop, which starts next week, which I'm super excited for. So again, divine timing, the universe guiding me, me listening to my intuition, me understanding the different things that I need to get better on as I'm on this journey, to get stronger in as I'm on this journey, however you want to put it. And just super, super excited because I knew I just also needed help with writing scenes. I mean, this book is great for the introduction of your book as a tool, and then also you can use it throughout. However, to have some like extra mentorship is also super important, and some extra tips in terms of learning how to write a scene to the best of capability. And I'll also say that their email blasts that go out after you sign up for the freebie are well worth it. They're not just a bunch of stuff like a lot of them are. So anyhow, keeping it real. So I really hope that this podcast helps you because again, even though this is a writing series, you can use these tips and tools and use your intuition for anything. As I mentioned, my husband uses his intuition to learn what fish to become the expert, the master, one of the greats in terms of catching. He did it for yellowtail, he did it for wahoo, he did it for mutton. So you can use what I'm saying as a coach or a mentor for any aspect of your life. And this is how I help my clients. I help you dial in, and so you can own your own greatness. You can be one of the greats. You can be a master at what you desire to really like accomplish with your life. Really, I mean, it's pretty much simple, right? It seems really simple, but we as humans, we like junk it up. We like make it messy. I don't know why. Why do we like to make it messy? I do not understand. I do not understand why I like to make it messy, but we all kind of like to make it messy, let's be honest. So the sooner that you can learn to open your intuition, use your intuition, trust your intuition, take action, and always continuing to be doing that. Like it's not just like a one and done. It's not like just, oh, I did it today. Okay, good, yay, I'm set for the rest of my life. No, people, no. It's an ongoing journey. Ongoing journey. Ongoing journey with lots of layers of development. And, quite frankly, for me, it's exciting. That's like what I love. It lights me up. It lights me up when I see my clients have success based on the empowerment that they give themselves, right? You give them yourself empowerment by learning to use your intuition and understanding energetics. So some of the advice that led me down this path these last couple weeks since I recorded the last episode with my niece Sienna on the 27th was that, and it's funny, the story grid video brought this up and I was like, he's so right on. And one of them was to just keep reading and reading and reading and reading. And as I mentioned in the last video with my niece Sienna, she's in college. She's on break. She had time to read 5 Sarah J. Maas books. I did not. I got through like 75% of it. And I'm like, okay, I get the gist. I think she's amazing. No offense, Sarah, but I got to move on. I've got to start writing. I have a business to run. I have other things to do. So if you're like me, you will understand that. and you understand, like, I don't have time to just sit and consume like all these fiction books, right? So like take out a couple at a time, go through them, understand, are they written in first person, third person? What do you like about them? Skip around, use your own intuition to get through that, and like use the library and return them. If you love it, love it, love it, love it, buy it. Like, kind of go with the flow on that. And then the other piece of advice that StoryGrid brought up that I had also been debunking was just read, just 2,000 words a minute, just 2,000 words a minute. And I was like, well, what am I writing? Like, I really feel like I need these gaps filled in, right? So, yeah, so be mindful of that advice too, because that's not always the best advice, just to be writing. It's like just post. Well, what are you posting about, right? So use your intuition again. Use your intuition to understand what pieces of advice are given out there for whatever you wish to accomplish. Again, whether it's writing or fishing or something else, and use your intuition to understand then what advice isn't so great and where you need to dial that in. So I hope you love this video. Again, thanks for joining me. If you're interested in working together, you can check out my website, melindavanfleet.com. And in the meantime, I really hope that this empowers you to own your greatness. Again, thanks for being here. Bye.